Democrats just released an attack ad against LA mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt, and it accidentally reveals exactly who Democrats govern for. And it isn't you.
Spencer Pratt is the last thing Los Angeles needs for mayor. Pratt opposes using taxpayer money to build brand new houses for our unhoused neighbors, saying it's time for the homeless to get help or get out. Pratt thinks LA needs thousands more police officers rather than more social workers, and Republican Spencer Pratt thinks public employee unions should have less power, not more. LA is on the right track and needs to stay the course. Vote no on Republican Spencer Pratt.
I watch that and think Democrats are in favor of giving out free homes to the homeless, they want less police, and they want public sector unions to control the government. This ad revealed all of that, and somehow the Democrats still thought this was a great attack. This ad is a perfect microcosm of the Democratic Party's insanity. As they keep pushing further left, they label normal, common sense beliefs as radically right wing. All three of their attacks in this ad reveal a key difference in Republicans and Democrats. Republicans govern for the average American, Democrats govern for the mentally ill, the criminal, and the ones who are leeching off your taxpayer dollars. We'll start with their attack about housing for the homeless. I want you to remember this number, $6 billion. That's how much LA has spent on homelessness since 2020. And has it helped? Nope. Tents still line the streets of LA. Now LA has approved another $900 million budget that will fund the building of houses for the homeless. Will these new homes help the homelessness problem? No, it won't. The vast majority of homeless people on the streets are mentally ill or are addicts. If they wanted help, they could find help. As I said, LA has spent over $6 billion since 2020 on helping them, and it hasn't helped yet. These people who refuse the help of the government are homeless either as a choice or because they're so high all the time that they don't know what is going on. When they come off that high, they just want to get high again. It takes more than government giving out a house to break them from that cycle. But to bring it back to my thesis, this underscores who the Democrats view their constituency as. Because they'll tell you they're all about affordability. They'll rail against Trump, claim that because of him, everything is unaffordable. But then they go and enact policies that would fail the most basic economics test. Right now, there's a ton of talk online about how houses are unaffordable. They say that young people can't buy homes, that it's a crisis we need to fix. How do you fix it? One way is to increase supply. You build more homes, prices will come down. Basic economics. But instead of doing that, LA is using real estate to build homes for the homeless. Homes that they just let people live in for free. What they should be doing is selling that land to private developers who can then build homes and sell it at market price. Increase supply, prices will go down. Instead, the land is off the market, reducing the supply of land available to developers and reducing the supply of homes on the market. So, prices go up. They say that they want to help you afford a home, but then the government gets involved and does the one thing that will actually make prices rise. They govern for the leeches, not the normal American. The ad then talked about policing. Spencer Pratt wants more police on the streets, and that's supposedly a bad thing. What the ad didn't mention is that the LA police force is at the lowest it has been in 30 years. While homicides did fall last year, violent crime is still above pre-COVID levels. Officer-involved shootings increased 62% last year. And response time on urgent and non-emergency calls are horrible. Because of their decreased force, they have to prioritize emergency calls. While it is good that they respond to true life-or-death emergencies in about 5 minutes, if your home gets burglarized, it could take hours for the police to show up. When you call, as one user on Reddit noted, you could be on hold for hours before you actually talk to anyone. You sit there on the phone while the guy who just stole your wedding ring gets a 2-hour head start. What LA needs and what most Americans want is an increased police presence. We saw it with New York in the 90s, Dallas, Houston. When police presence is high, crime that affects you, like burglaries, carjackings, and theft, fall. But instead of more police, which would help out the average person in LA, the Democrats want to replace police with social workers. They want social workers responding to calls about a mental health crisis or a domestic violence case. But what Democrats don't understand is that these calls often turn violent. The husband whose wife calls the police on him is actively violent. The person undergoing a mental health crisis could break at any moment and turn his anger outwards. Social workers can't stop that, but police can, which is why these calls need police and often need an officer for an extended amount of time, both to protect the caller and to protect the rest of the public. But Democrats see police as a negative. They see police as the problem. But the truth is, the police are only a problem to the person who needs to be stopped by the police. They're a problem only to that person who wants to do harm to themselves or others. But because that person, one who actually needs to be stopped, sees police as bad, so do the Democrats. And they govern with that person in mind. They want to protect the person who needs to be stopped. And they do so by getting rid of the police officer whose job it is to protect you, the law-abiding, mentally stable person. So we see it again. The Democrats govern for the criminals and the mentally ill while leaving the average person behind. Lastly, the ad talked about private sector unions. And this one I may be most excited to talk about because public sector unions are a problem that many people, even on the right, don't understand. Public sector unions are a Ponzi scheme. They take your taxpayer money, promising that they work to help you, and then do everything they can to work against your interests. I always use teachers as my example because that's the most easily recognizable problem. Teachers get paid from taxes, part of their salary goes to the unions, and then the unions turn around and donate millions to Democrats who do everything they can to help teachers and hurt students. We saw it in 2020. Literally for a full year after it became clear that children weren't in danger from COVID, the teachers' unions were still fighting to keep kids home from school. When your students should have been in the classroom learning, the unions fought to keep kids home, learning from an iPad every day. All the while, the largest teacher unions were donating over $10 million to the Biden campaign and other Democrats for office. The teachers' unions claim to be about the kids, but then spent all of their money ensuring that your kid got a worse education. And another problem that even Democrats should understand is that public sector unions, whether it's the teachers, police officers, or postal workers, continue to protect their worst members while negotiating for more of your taxpayer dollar. The attack ad said that Spencer Pratt wants to limit the power that unions have, meaning that he doesn't want the public unions to influence governmental policy. I honestly wish Pratt went even farther and said he wants to abolish public unions altogether. Democrats keep the public union Ponzi scheme going. You pay in, the union bosses and Democrat leaders get paid. Democrats keep advancing their own interests. They govern for the union boss, not for you. The bottom line is this. Democrats see their mission as serving the mentally ill, the addicts, the homeless, the criminals, the union leaders who use your taxpayer money against you. The Republicans see their mission as serving you. If you're tired of being told that common sense is radical, subscribe and like the video. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to build a brand based on honest, reasonable takes and not the performative outrage you get from so many online these days. If that resonates with you, subscribe for me and head to my Substack to get new releases emailed directly to you. With that, I'll see you next time. Thank you.